Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm continuing going through my top 100 games of all time. Today we will be doing 80 through 71. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first game, number 80 here, is new to the list. Hadn't played it last time, and this is First Empires. This is I don't think it's my highest rated game from Eric B. Vogel, who I really like. Actually, it might be. I think Guitar might have fallen off. I can't remember. But anyway, this game is it's a weird game. I know several people who don't like it, like Amy and Jimmy. In First Empires, you have this board, but it's really not as much about the board as you might think. Really, it's about these dice. So it's kind of a Yahtzee game where you roll five. There's a certain number of dice, you get a few re-rolls, and then it's about these tracks. So you're trying to move up the tracks, roll more dice, get more re-rolls, get more guys on the map, and things like that. A lot of fun. It's kind of like not. It's a Civilization themed game, and plays very quickly. Yeah, I should play this one more often. That is First Empires. Number 79, I do not own. This is not new to the list. It was 67 back last time I did this, and that is Trajan. So Trajan at 79. Trajan is from Stefan Feld, and it's not my highest Feld game, but I do really like it. Bob has a copy of this who played occasionally. It's essentially the main mechanism is really Mancala, because you have these little they're not like actual bowls, but they're basically like bowls with different colored cubes in them. And then you pick up all the cubes from a bowl and then you drop them all the next ones. Wherever you land, that's the action you take. If you land with certain color combinations, you might get a certain bonus. Fun stuff. Yeah, I really like it. The other things going on the board are really just point salad. I mean, it's a Feld game. That's what he does. Um, but they're interesting enough that that core puzzle of your own little Mancala board is really cool. So I really like it. That's number 79, Trajan. Number 78, I don't own. It's new to the list, but I do have a copy here because this is Mark's copy. And this is Twilight Struggle. This is a two-player game all about the Cold War. It's real pretty. It's you're just playing either as the Soviets or as the U.S., and you put out these little markers that say how much influence you have in a region. So I might start out with 3 influence in Romania, and then the U.S. can try and do a coup there, or well, it's hard to do coups in Europe, but you can. Or they might spread some influence there through nefarious means and things. It's a very good two-player game. It looks more complicated than it is. It starts to make sense, especially once you played it once. Really, your strategy is very much determined by what cards come out, and who gets them and who uses them. So, like as the Soviets, you might go heavy into like Cuba and trying to gain points by having influence so close to the U.S. But the card just might not come up that is really good for that, and therefore yeah, maybe you don't do that, or maybe you get some cards that are really good for Africa, and you try and get some points off of Africa. Obviously, Europe is always very important because everyone's really fighting in there. Yeah, interesting game. I believe this one used to be ranked number one. Oh, there goes Domino Coughing. See, this is just the kind of professionalism you can expect on this channel. Lovely. I think it used to be ranked number one on Board Game Geek, but this is Twilight Struggle. Number 77, new to the list. This is heavy. It is Mosaic, A Story of Civilization. This is one of those games where you have just a ton of cards. I tend to like games like that. I think Terraforming Mars, Ark Nova. Let me see if I can. I can't even bring up the deck, but there's a bunch of different decks. Here's the technology deck. This is the biggest one. And then each one of these decks is completely different. They'll have various tags, various requirements. And unlike in Terraforming Mars, they usually give you one-time abilities. Some give you other things. Anyway, regardless, it's kind of like Terraforming Mars, but I like Terraforming Mars better. I still really like this one a lot. That's why it's number 77. Um, and yeah, I wish I could get to the table more often. The thing is there's other games I like better. So maybe someday I won't have this on the top 100, but for now, well deserved 77. Number 76 was 88 last year. This is Stella Dixit Universe. This has basically replaced Dixit for me on the top 100 and generally speaking. I like Dixit. I like Dixit especially if you have 6 people. I think it's best at 6. This one works fine at 4 or 5 as well. This is one of those games where you have all these cards with interesting art on them, and some of it's quite beautiful and some of it's quite weird. This version kind of strays away from the weird, gross, or scary ones that are in some versions of Dixit. These tend to be more pastoral in nature. Ooh, that one's a little spooky. Um, but in the original Dixit, you had to come up with your own story to match whatever card you were playing. And it could be a one-word story, and usually was. In this one, they give you a word, and then there's a grid of cards, and everyone has to mark down whether or not they think each card relates to that word. And if you match well with other people, you can get a lot of points, you can win the game. So it's not cooperative at all, but you are trying to kind of work with the other people, and you have these nice little moments. They're called super sparks, where just you and one other person match, and then you get an extra point, and that's super nice. And you're like, heck yes, you and I, one brain. Um, that's Stella, number 76. Number 75 was 49 last year, or last time, 34 the first time I did this, and this is Lord of the Rings, The Confrontation. Good luck if you're trying to get a copy of this. It's very out of print. This is essentially Stratego on a smaller scale with Lord of the Rings characters and cards for combat. It's fantastic. This is by Reiner Knizia, one of my favorite designers, one of the most prolific designers. The light side is asymmetric. Every single character is different. The light side is trying to win by getting Frodo to Mordor. The dark side is trying to win by killing Frodo, or by getting 3 people in the Shire, which could happen. Yeah, it's quick. It's interesting. You have some very nice like bluffing sort of things going on. In particular, as the light side, you can be like, oh, this guy's Frodo, and really it's not, somebody else's Frodo. As the dark side, you could be like, oh, watch out for these orcs, and then they're not orcs, they're the Balrog. Entirely different thing with requires different strategy. Yeah, great game, 75. That is Lord of the Rings Confrontation. Number 74 I do not own. I also don't have a copy here, and that is Eclipse, New Dawn for the Galaxy. It was 63 last time, 92 the time before that. I have not played the new version. I'd like to. It's Eclipse like Second Dawn for the Galaxy. Eclipse is a space epic. It is the one that is kind of more Euro in nature. I haven't played Twilight Imperium. I'd like to. Someday I will. Patrick, help me out with that. Anyway, Eclipse. So I played this game with Mark and Jonathan. The two of them have played it so much that they're much better than I am. But I did win the one time, and that was amazing. It's just, there's so many intricacies here. This is one of the most complicated games on my top 100. Each faction plays very differently, but the real intricacy comes from like putting these upgrades on your ships and modifying them and looking what other people have. So like oh, that person went with a bunch of missiles. I'm going to get this missile defense, and then the other person's going to then switch over to something else to make your missile defense not work. And so it's this very complicated math problem as to how to determine that you're going to win this conflict. And I prefer to just kind of stay away from most of those conflicts and do my own thing. Fight the neutral guys, because I don't want to take on Jonathan. He's too good at the game. Anyway, great game. The 74, Eclipse. Number 73 was 45 last time, 61 the time before that, and that is Kingdom Builder. I used to play this game a lot with Kenny and Bob. I'm just dropping names all over the place today. In Kingdom Builder, you have this lovely grid full of little hexes, and who doesn't love hexagons? They're the bestagons. And you have different ways to score that are going to be different each game. you have your little houses that you play across the map. They're especially if you're first time playing, it seems like there's a ton of randomness, but you can certainly get used to getting these little spots that give you special abilities. And if you manipulate things in the right way, you can deal with the randomness and really come out on top. Um, I bought this copy used. It includes a couple of expansions. I don't think I've played my own copy of this, which is absurd. Yeah, we got Nomads and Marshlands. I need to play this more. It's a great game. I used to love it a lot. I bought a copy for myself, and then I haven't played it since then. Ridiculous. We need to be game players and not just game owners, Nikki. This is Kingdom Builder. Number 72 was 44 last time, 42 the time before that, and this is Kingsburg. This is the second edition. The last times I did this list, I had the first edition. Kingsburg is great. It is dice placement, but better than most of the dice placement games out there, in my opinion. You are using your dice to place on these lovely people who are looking very grim, um, and get points, get resources, and drive off the invading armies. It plays pretty quickly once everyone knows what they're doing. In the second edition, everyone has access to buildings that only they can build, which is very cool. I have played this copy of it since I got the second edition, and yeah, it's great. I really like the second edition. The only reason it's down from the last time is because I've played so many good games, and so sadly things like Kingsburg have to go down. And finally, number 71, I also don't own. This is called It's a Wonderful World, um, which makes me think both of Louis Armstrong and also, what's his name? Jimmy, gosh, the actor. Like, you want the moon, Mary? Here, we'll get you the moon. Anyway, Jess taught me this game. It is a drafting game and an engine building game. Plays very quickly. It's very kind of appealing in that you have different starts and different strategies you can go for. I'm very bad at the game, but I really like it. It's kind of abstracted. Get the various different colored cubes, get points with these little tokens, and just play your cards like, oh, if you've got a lot of black cubes, you can spend them with this card, spend them on this card to get a blue card, which is worth a lot of points. The theming like really doesn't make sense when you look at strong at it. It's just like cards and cubes and colors, but it's great. Really love it. That's number 71, new to the list. It's a Wonderful World. Uh, Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I am hoping to get another one of these out this weekend, but we will see, and have a good one.